Okay, so welcome to the secrets of the ankle. This is something that for over a decade has never failed to surprise me how important the ankles are. Now, often we'll only start thinking about the ankles when we think about I've injured my ankle, or you'll have some S&C coach saying we need ankle dorsiflexion because he can't squat, can't bend, do whatever. But I'm going to talk to you about the importance of the ankle that can be the cause of an injury anywhere in the system. And I've had people who've had shoulder injuries on the opposing side caused by an ankle. Now let me give you an overview of this. And for those who know our kind of methodology, we always go with the joint by joint approach. And the joint by joint approach is really simple. This is the computer system. It runs the show. It's the hardware. Sorry, it's the software. The parts of the hardware. Every piece of anatomy in the human body has a job description. It has something that it should do, and the problem occurs when it doesn't do that. So a foot is designed to be nice and stable. An ankle loves to bend. It is, for me, it's the shock absorbers on the mountain bike going downhill. The knee's a screw-in joint, hates too much range of motion, loves just being stable. Hips, I've never seen anybody with too much hip range of motion. Lumbar spine, stable, craves it, hates rotation, hence why we have problems with stress fractures, stress reactions. Rib cage loves range of motion. That's not just extension and flexion. I see people trying to get overhead all the time and they're just trying to force and crank on more extension. Rotation is the quickest way to improve thoracic mobility. Then we have the scapula that's designed to be stable. Shoulder mobile, elbow, hand. It's amazing. It's a beautiful sequence of mobile joints stacked on top of stable until the computer system here knows if that hip is a little bit tight, if the rib cage is a little bit junky, but the computer system knows that you want to get the job done. Cricketing terms, hit the top of off stump. But the problem occurs now is that the brain has to recruit something else to help support one of these joints to get the ball down there. Now I always look at compensation, I say this all the time, if there's 100 bricks on the floor between me and Bones here, and we've been told to lift them outside, if I lift 2 and Bones lifts 98, he's knackered, he's exhausted, he might be injured, he might see the physio might fix Bones, and then we come back the next day, another 100 bricks on the floor, I lift 2. I'm the sneaky cause of the problems here. And this is how I actually look at an ankle, as the sneaky one that nobody actually bothers with, because we're all focusing in on maybe a bit of back pain, maybe a bit of shoulder pain. But the issue that we have is that we have seen uncleared ankles where sprains can go back as long as 4, 5, 6 years and they've lost range of motion. So the shock absorber isn't working correctly, and we can have symptomatic pain anywhere up the system. And herein lies why ankles for us, especially when it comes to quick bowlers who are slamming those feet down, they are definitely number 1 on the list. So a very simple ankle clearing test that we use on our guys. And we want to be able to see, can the ankle bend in a fully loaded position, because the more realistic we have, i.e. you're on 2 feet, you're bowling, you're running, we need to see that. So okay, I want you to put this here as just a straight edge. Now you can just have a straight line on the floor, it's not a problem, but just for the video I want to show you. So Akash, if you can put your left foot forward, so whichever is the back leg, we're testing the back leg. So his left foot is flat against there and his right foot is directly behind and in a straight line. Now in a second, Akash is going to bend forward, but this right heel must stay on the ground. Now what we're trying to do is Akash is trying to get his knee past the ankle joint here. So quite often I'll just use a pole just to see, a measuring stick. Good, come back up. So just to show, the middle of the ankle, the malleolus there, Akash has got to drive that knee past there. So if we dropped a line straight down from there, we would see that he's past the back ankle. We're testing the back leg here, which is the right ankle, to see if he can get into enough dorsiflexion to pass the test. Okay, so the first corrective, we're going to do 2 for the ankle. Now this is a voodoo floss band, you can get them on Amazon, and you can get them literally for £7, £8. Very, very cheap, very important with restoring range of motion of the ankle. So Akash. Okay, so Akash is already now, he's got the voodoo floss band around the ankle. Literally set a timer, 2-3 minutes, because we don't want to have this on there too long because it is blood flow restriction. We're trying to restrict the blood flow into the joint, and then when we release it in a minute, new fresh blood flies into the complete foot area and starts to help with the healing process. Now, while you've got it on, there's no recipe for this, but in this case, I just want Akash doing some simple lunges, go into a half kneeling position, and just see if you can get some range of motion. To try and get the knee to track outwards that way, because that's often the corner we get stuck in. So when you're going forward, if you've got a laser beam off the knee, try and take it slightly towards mid-on if you're a right-handed batter. Don't go and dive in. So you would complete 6 to 8 reps from there. And again, there's no correct recipe for this. You're just trying to improve the range of motion while the band is on. Then when you release the band, it's the flushing of the blood back into the area that actually helps with the healing, but also increasing range of motion. Okay, for this movement here now, you might, when you go through the testing, you're either going to see that you feel in the ankle clearing test that there's tightness and stiffness in the back of the leg, so the gastrocsoleus. So if that's the case and you're feeling it in the gastrocsoleus, you've got some sort of tissue restriction. Now that is just myofascial release, anything that we can do to free up the tissues in the back of the leg. Now, for some people who have done the clearing test, they would have gone down, they would have actually felt some kind of bony restriction at the front, which is the talus. Now, that joint here, as we go into active dorsiflexion, what should happen is there's a slide and glide effect to the tibia and the talus. So basically, talus gets out of the way, and sometimes it can get stuck in there, so we need an actual joint distraction. Now, what you need with the Voodoo Floss band on, and also a resistance band right in the crease of the ankle. Now you're going to walk that out and get some tension on. That's really important that you have this band set up at a 45-degree angle, because we need that pulling motion. So don't go straight out 45 degrees. Now Akash is going to get in a split stance, and again he is just going to go into a form of lunge. Now where you can see Akash has a tendency to go inward with the knee, we actually want to come and reset. Imagine you've got a laser on the knee, you want it coming more straight or out. You want to get into this corner, so come right back up to the beginning. The band has the distraction, then go again. Good. And again, you're going to be doing 3 or 4 reps with the Voodoo Floss band on and the distraction pulling you 45 degrees. Okay, just finishing up the ankle series, and why this is so important to take. A key thing is you can't just go after a joint thinking that if I fix the ankle, everything else is going to be fine. You have to look wide, and you have to be able to understand. Ask yourself, if there is a restriction, ask why. Because fundamentally, the biggest issue that I constantly see is that our skeletons are spending all day trying to understand how to measure or how to cope with center of mass and center of gravity. Most of us are leaning too far forwards just in nature of life itself. So we're leaning too far forward. So what happens is that the weight, instead of working down through where we'd like our center of mass, is too far forward on the foot. Now when that happens, you're going to shut down active dorsiflexion anyway, just in general terms, because it's the only way you can cope with managing the center of mass. So sometimes we see an ankle that's really stiff and you think, great, I'm going to loosen the ankle off. So you loosen the ankle off, but you don't deal with why it's stiff, and you don't deal with how to actually improve better biomechanics and the position. So again, low-hanging fruit is always the center of mass. And if you are a person with that pelvis tilted forward, and you can see that little lower back arch, more than likely you're going to be driving the weight down through more the front end of the foot, which shuts down the tibia, and you've robbed yourself of range of motion. Sometimes, I spend a lot of time with this half foam roll, getting used to actually repositioning the weight back allows us to take pressure off the lower limb, but also aligns the pelvis and the rib cage. Now, this is where your issue comes. In a really one-dimensional, and if you have somebody talk to you like this, please run. If you have somebody that says, I need to improve your ankle range of motion, and puts you in a heel lifting shoe, and you're not an Olympic weightlifter, they have no clue how to train you. So they're going to take you where you're already putting your mass through the front of the foot. They're going to give you a heel lift to take you even more forward. So you're going to put a bar on the back, and what you're going to do, you're going to go into more lumbar extension. Lumbar extension means these little suckers get closer together, hence why you can cause a stress fracture in the gym. Yes, you've heard it here, in the gym. So you can't have an idiot telling you I need to put you in weightlifting shoes or a big soled shoe and then walk you into the gym. We always train our guys out of shoes in the gym where possible, but we're also not going to put you in a position where there are more compressive factors on the spine itself, feeding you into a pattern that a lot of people are locked within. So please, when it comes to this, is ask yourself, why do I have a range of motion issue? On the rehabilitation side of things, a sprain or something, fine, we get you out of pain, but we need to restore range of motion, because remember, the ankle can be the cause of anything: a shoulder, a back, a knee, or a hip. And nobody's looking at the sneaky sucker down here.